hired goons and thugs, and they're being used basically to tarnish our movement. And there's the other concern that it takes a lot of energy, a lot of time. And this is coming from someone, again, who has never been more proud to be Kenyan than at this point in time. The fatigue is also coming from the president's response, him gaslighting us, his pride, his lack of remorse, his disregard of life, and the fatigue is being amplified by what the government is doing, the police brutality, the abductions, and just the lives lost. There are tactics that can be used if we choose to continue to protest, like what happened in the Arab Spring, particularly Egypt. They formed human chains. They had barricades and checkpoints in key locations and key areas where the protesters were at. So that means if you have hired thugs or goons coming into, say, CBD, it is clear where exactly the peaceful protesters are, and it is clear that those people have been hired. They invited media houses, I think both local and international, so exposure. And the third thing is they had Human Rights Commission and international observers. I'd say those are the three things that I remember. If there's anything else, you can put it in the comments. But in the long run, can we keep this up? If you do, let me know. If not, also let me know.
That lady is explaining what exactly happened on Tuesday. And after the Tuesday protest, the Wednesday media agenda was based on what happened when the goods were planted in the street. We are going to look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I'm shooting a different place. I am still in Nakuru. As I had promised, I came to Nakuru today to take Brenda to the hospital, and I've had a long day, so that's why I have not been able to travel back to Nairobi. And as you can see, we took Brenda to the hospital, and I want us to get a report of what transpired there. And I want to thank you very much for really coming out to support this lady. So we left Brenda. She's now strong, and as you can see, even she was trying to move. Akijaribu kutembea, you can feel it has not been very easy. Amekuwa kwa nyumba. Now let me tell you something. Apparently, some protesters were being taken from the hospital, and that is why Brenda could not stay in the hospital for long. She's in the hospital and was only there for some 20 minutes and had to come to the house. And now anaogopa hata kurudi hospitali because police were looking for protesters with gunshots. So if you are taken to the hospital with gunshots, ukitibiwa, on your way out, unapatikana unashikwa. So I was shocked about that, and she told me that is one of the reasons why she could not even be there for long. So, hi guys, so we're in free area, Nakuru. Yeah, so we're with Brenda. It's quite a long day. Brenda, first, on behalf of the Gen X that are members of this, and also me, we want to say Pole. I was told that there are things that our parents and I probably did not do, and that is why your team is actually fighting for us. And it's very heartwarming kwamba even at the end of it, you could still stay a little continua. Brenda, what happened? Ilikuwa aje hiyo siku?
So tulikuwa tumetoka, so maandamano ilikuwa within town. So watu wakatoka, walikuwa wanapita like the whole town places. So wakakuja hivi sides za State House. So si wakasimama, then there's a field in opposite State House. Side ya chini, so people are there, they were like,
ilikuwa field outside State House?
Opposite State House. Kuna highway imepita, then State House side ya chini kuna ka field. So we were there, like a lot of us with flags nini. So obviously we were fighting for the finance bill to be dropped. Then they opened fire, wakaanza kurusha tear gas, then they opened fire. When they opened fire, wakati nilikuwa nakimbia for my life, nikagonga, ni kama niligonga mawe, then nikaanguka, then nikaangukia tena mawe wengine. Then nika dislocate the hip joint. Then sasa watu wenye walikuwa wanakimbia, so watu kukanyaga wakienda hivyo.
Na uwezi amka?
Hapana, sikuwa naweza simama. Yeah, so that's basically what happened. So ikabidi nimelala hapo hadi like watu wote wametoroka, then the police wakaenda, then somebody mwenye alikuwa anapita ndio nikaita mtu pikipiki akanipa nini. But
the police didn't care kwamba mtu ako chini and they...
No, they didn't.
Well, sana on behalf of us. So guys, that is what happened to Brenda. So we've had a long day. We've had to the hospital. The x-ray has been done, and we may find out that this located hip joint. So he's been put under medication. Wamesema after what they have done, sasa watafanya physiotherapy. Then after physiotherapy, there are also some other medicines that sasa itabidi ununue so that you take.
Yeah.
And we really thank you guys because the Brenda case was very emotive. Kwamba know that tulikuwa msichana wengi sana pale.
Tulikuwa wasichana wengi.
And really tell us, why do you think mademu litokea this time?
Najua watu wamechoka because sisi tuko hapa jobless na sisi tumemaliza shule.
Wewe umemaliza?
So people are there. They're like tumemaliza shule, we don't have jobs, kazi ni kukaa kwa nyumba. Nobody wants to employ us.
What did you study?
Veterinary medicine.
Veterinary medicine, So guys, nani alifanya veterinary medicine? So veterinary medicine ina deal na ng'ombe, agricultural, That should be Egerton,
Yeah.
Yeah, because Egerton ina deal na hiyo. So we want to thank you guys. So what we'll do a cash transfer so that itakusaidia make sure umemeza hizo madawa as they said, and you also attend to the physios. It will take some time, but you'll be updating us of the progress. Sawa, tutakuwa to update in case of any other challenge. Utakuwa unatusaidia. So this was Indian gwenye ilikuwa na shida hii.
Hii ndio yenyewe this one. The one nimeona kutoka hapa hivi. So hata nikijaribu kununua mguju and all the way it comes here, chungu kabisa. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so pole sana and all the best. We are also praying for your recovery, and we are also happy that your voices are being loud, are coming out loud. You are fighting for us, both me and you, and we believe that what you people are doing is not in vanity. Thank you for coming out, and I believe that you are part of the change for this society. Home ni wapi?
Home ni Kisii.
Oh, home ni Kisii. Nyamache. Oh, when did you graduate?
2022.
Oh, 2022. So for the last 2 years hujapata kazi bado?
No.
Okay. And we believe someone have a job for Brenda. Akishapona Brenda apate kazi, si ndio? Yeah, and we will be very happy. So thank you very much, and may God bless all of us. So I want to say thank you very much. We were actually able to get 116,000. We did a cash transfer of 60,000, and the other bit we used to just for the other part of the medication. And Brenda is in strong spirit, so the cash transfer is going to help her, support her to buy the medicine, and also at least he also needs to put on to buy some supplements also. So we will still continue to follow up on her, and she'll be giving us updates as we go. Thank you to Sir Francis Hotel, in Freetown, in Nakuru, for the good reception and good welcome of my team here. Yeah, we've been here for some time, and it's just an amazing place. But if you Nakuru, you can visit Sir Francis Hotel. Na huku watu wanasikia bold. I'm so happy that I did not need some introduction. You'll get here, they tell you, Kevin, I know bold. Oh, and they even knew what we were coming here to do, and I'm just so happy that the brand is very visible. Now, let's look at this story by nation.
Now, let's revisit our top stories. And 6 politicians, a businessman, and 2 non-governmental organizations are on the radar of state intelligence and security agencies following suspicion of their involvement in fueling ongoing anti-government protests. These suspects, according to a high-level intelligence brief seen by The Nation, are made up of 3 politicians from Nairobi, 2 politicians from Central Kenya, 1 politician from Rift Valley, a businessman from Rift Valley, a local NGO, and an international one. The suspects are accused of doing various things, including financing some protesters, mobilizing youth from slum areas, and giving them cash handouts as they're directing them to infiltrate the peaceful protests and turn them violent. They're also accused of providing logistical support, such as transporting the hired individuals to demonstrate epicenters, such as the central business districts of major cities. The first politician from Nairobi is accused of mobilizing and hiring goons from Kibera, Mathare, and Babadogo areas. The second politician from the capital city has allegedly been holding night meetings to plan for the demonstrations. The Rift Valley-based counterpart has been fingered for allegedly meeting youth at his house in Nairobi to oil the anti-government protests. The brief, seen by The Nation, had names of the key suspects, which we have, however, withheld for legal reasons. The security brief also cites reasons for the alleged abductions that have been ongoing as the failure to obtain hard evidence of the suspects' logistical and financial connection to the protesters. Further, they are seeking to infiltrate the planning and coordination of the protests. But so far, they have to yield solid, actionable leads. This is according to interviews with multiple people familiar with the investigations. A special team of officers drawn from NIS and Directorate of Criminal Investigations has been fingered for effecting the brazen abductions. Find additional details on these developments on tomorrow's Daily Nation and on nation.africa.
This story was done yesterday, and having been in the newsroom, and I know even in this channel we have journalists, you will agree with me that this story, whatever we've listened to, was not a story. It was actually a developing story that just needed to be somewhere. You put up, even me in this channel, I can sometimes get information and I must not rush with it. You can put them somewhere, just put them. Just do, you put it as you wait for the story to develop, so that by the time you are coming live on air, you are coming with something very substantive. Now, I am a bit confused here. There is a theory that any story in media is no longer secret. If a journalist is holding a story, that story cannot be secret. So why you come and splash headlines about number of politicians, number of NGOs, and this and that, who are behind and sponsoring the protest, and still then at the end you say we withheld the names, are those names still secret? Maybe. But I found this story, I kept on wondering what is the objective, because it's talking about those people who sponsored the protest. Now, what exactly is the sponsor doing? Did the sponsor the Tuesday protest or the anti-government protest? And I'm a bit disappointed, because the agenda setting theory, the agenda that the mainstream media set for the country on Wednesday, veered off from the discussion. The discussion is about bad governance, the accountability. The whole thing, finance bill is a trigger. But if you listen to what the country is talking about, the country is talking about accountability. But today, we actually mudslinging people. We actually got into the space of just mudslinging people and buying a story. By the way, I don't buy that story. Believe me, I don't buy that story. Because I believe, why would the government even have names? And then before you arrest even one, you go to media and say, stop or we arrest you. Do they even have names? Why would you have names, then rush to media and say, you take the names to the media before arresting even one person? That story would have been better. One person is arrested, the whole media station the story is taken, then you say 6 other politicians, some NGOs are also being investigated about it. But it cannot be that you are in finality that X number of politicians, X number of NGOs, and X number of what. Then, and it even went to the extent of saying some 2 politicians from Mount Kenya. You know, no. I think the story was, even the people, the editors that allowed that story to go online probably, I don't support, but we don't have monopoly of ideas in media. That's what they say. So, someone is telling business owners to blame politicians for what's going on, and 3 is already creating a pool of some enemies against President Ruto. But the public must be wary of this strategy that is being used, because this is not the first time that government is saying, and even it was even during Uhuru Kenyatta era, this is not the first time that a government has been saying, we know who did this, we know who did this. And then the next day, you start now mudslinging and naming politicians left, right, and center. But no single politician has been arrested and will be arrested and even prosecuted. So it's part of the narrative building. And I agree with one of my subscribers here who was saying, Kevin, I believe the country should consider how to just tame the goons first. Maybe stop the protest and retreat fast. Because the truth of the matter here is, the protests were infiltrated. But why is it the other one? Why is it the last 2? Why is it the first one was not? If it is goons who are already in town, mbona hawakuloot day 1? Well, day 1, police were overwhelmed, police even retreated, the shops were there. The day the people invaded parliament, no one was in the street, no one was in the CBD, no, there was no shop which was looted. So, now help me understand, look at this video, this photo here. This photo is caskets. Those caskets, I'm still holding in this because these caskets were brought in town and they were loaded there, they were offloaded from a lorry, and you can see that lorry, offloading the caskets in town. Later that evening, these caskets were spotted somewhere in Juja Road. I don't know, they were being remade or something. And so someone should give us an answer. Who is this Kenyan who can risk his lorry to be driven in town when protests are going on, carrying those caskets without guarantee of safety? Who provided the safety? Because to the best of my knowledge, and I know the people that crafted this knew very well that when the protesters will see the casket, they will marvel. They will, it's because the caskets were of course, to show solidarity for those who are killed. But this was an inside game. How long did it take for the police just to arrest the driver of that? Let's be very basic, not as an investigator. Let's just be casual. The police are in town. A lorry has arrived with the casket. You believe that the caskets, the people that bought, the protesters can't buy casket. Will agree that those protesters, they can afford, but they cannot go to buy. So what is stopping you from arresting the driver of the lorry, interrogate the driver of the lorry, and let us see you making an effort to know even where the caskets were bought? There was nothing like that, and the state is silent about it. The only thing they did next is asking questions. I think Kenya Kwanza cannot act like us. They have the machinery, they have everything, they can know. They cannot gaslight. Oh, I know X number of politicians. Oh, I know what, I know. No, you can't do that. For you, that will leave for, you need to act. Arrest those 2 politicians from Mount Kenya, let's see. None has been arrested. Let's see those leadership of those NGOs. Let's see. Take them to court, charge them. What we want to see is the charge sheet. What the media should actually be seeing is the charge sheet. Then from the charge sheet, you can make an assessment. But on this one, is just threat. And I am one person that doesn't entertain the fact that someone sponsored goons, someone from outside government sponsored goons to go to CBD, or rather to break into supermarkets. Let me ask. So if a goon is, let's imagine a politician has given someone 1,000 shillings, and I've told that person that go to town and I want you to vandalize shops. So I want to ask this, even you, if you are outside government, would you just be so comfortable making that risk if you know very well that police are there and the police can even shoot you? You know, we need to be very objective here. The truth of the matter, what happened, and according to me, what I'm seeing here is clear. There is a point of, even during the first protest, those thieves, these are not goons, these are thieves. The thieves that were there. But immediately we injected goons in the protest, police retreated. Police had some artificial retreat so that goons will have a field day and create a divide and rule, you know, try to create divisions within the movement. And by the police retreating, that is when the goons, the thieves, took advantage. And in fact, the same goons that could have been sent in town to do other things are the ones that went there now started breaking into shops. And immediately one shop is broken into, then any other goon who is there, because then any other thief who could be part of the protest will leave the protest and come and join the looting spree. And you need to ask one question. You need to think around one question. Why has it been easy for police to fire journalists, to fire at protesters? But I am yet to see a single photo of police shooting a thief. I'm yet to see that. Just the same way I saw that heartbreaking video of a police shooting a protester carrying a flag of the Republic of Kenya in front of the Parliament building, is the same way we should see police shooting at least one person carrying a TV set from a supermarket. Yes. Anyway, in this country we normally kill thieves. That's what we normally do. So why is it not easy to even kill one? Shoot one. Itoe picha itoke huyu alibeba TV. Why is it that we don't have such a photo? So we need to think around this. And I think as a country, we must be very categorical about this. And you can see, listen to what Kalonzo said. Kalonzo is saying the planting of goons is part of the plan after the few strategies failed. We started with arrest, abductions. After it failed, we landed into bringing goons.
Entitled, "We strongly condemn the sponsored violent protests and support the public demands for the resignation of Ruto regime." Good morning and thank you, members of the press, for joining us today. Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party is deeply concerned about the recent increase in violence during the Gen Z-inspired protests. In the last 2 weeks, Gen Z has inspired the majority of disenfranchised and disillusioned Kenyans to exercise their constitutional rights to assemble, to demonstrate, to picket, and to petition. They continue to do so in a manner that has captured the attention not just of Kenya, but the region, Africa, and indeed the whole world. In the typical fashion of a tyrant, the Ruto regime attempted to silence their voices by intimidation, arrests, abductions, and hijackings. This did not work, and indeed it shall never work. According to the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, local and international media, the police executed a shoot-to-kill order that extinguished 41 young Kenyan promising lives with over 300 Kenyans admitted to hospitals with gunshot wounds. We also note that the youth raised their demands from hashtag reject the finance bill to hashtag Ruto must go. Ruto and his henchmen sponsored Goons infiltrated with the sole intention of destabilizing the continued peaceful protests. These disgraceful, criminal and illegal activities violate the right to peaceful protest as provided for under Article 37 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Despite these perpetuated horrors, the young people have continued to march our streets, determined to drive and realize meaningful change for themselves, their families, and their country. We have observed that the intention of yesterday's well-organized, coordinated, and state-sponsored chaos was to undermine and denigrate the Gen Z-inspired nationwide non-violent protests. Looting was intentional. The destruction was planned. The touching of public and private property worth billions of shillings was carried out in collaboration with the already corrupted security forces in the full glare of the media and in these international media as well as the onlookers.
Listen to Kalonzo here. So that is why I think we need to put things in order. I want to interpret this development about all these issues about goods. Number one, government has the sole responsibility to arrest and prosecute goons, and with a heavy punishment. Let's see who is going to pay their bail terms. If someone is indeed behind them, let's see. And the other thing is, you cannot apprehend, and you cannot apprehend. You should not shout and even give speculative reports about politicians and people that are behind the protest if you can't arrest. Threats are not the best option. Threats have never worked. If anything, people say the fear is gone. These politicians know very well. Do some arrest. Arrest the sponsor. Stop saying so and so is sponsoring. If you know someone is already paying money, they're talking about meetings being done in some house, I don't know where. What's stopping you from just go and arrest and charge? You need to act. Otherwise, if you are saying you know the thief and you are not arresting the thief, then you are an accessory to that crime. Number three, the police should intensify operation and at least let us see goons. You can arrest the goons. You can arrest the goons. Because the truth of the matter, like in CBD, the protesters are around archives. The protesters are around the archives. If there is someone who is protesting in Luthuli, Este Tuko, some one or two people, you will know this one is not. And I want to ask this. What are these things, easy chuma pangas, that they're using to break into shops? When people are in town, the people that are protesting do not hold any metal. They're only holding the flag. So it should not be difficult for the police to separate between this is a protester and this is a thug. Anyone holding a metal, anyone holding something suggested that can break into something, should be arrested. Because the protesters were carrying flags. So let us see. I think it cannot be magic. It does not need magical science for the security apparatus to find out that, look here, this one is not a protester. Hii panga amebeba na hicho amebeba, this one no. It's not difficult. And lastly, I think, then this is to the President Ruto. We can suppress the protest through these dubious means, but that is going to give us false comfort. I wish we face the reality. The reality here is young people are complaining about bad governance. Let us stick to the lane. Any other diversion around it, we're just trying to hide around it. But we're just going to hide around the problem, but we're not solving it. Let us face the problem. Young people are talking about this. So let's talk about that. This other sideshows we are making is just going to give us false comfort. I asked Brenda, by the way, Brenda, why is it that young people are in the street. You people you graduated with, some of them in the street. There is hopelessness. So now come in the shule, seen a job. So you have nothing to lose. And by the way, let me tell you, the President Ruto must understand he is dealing with a frustrated economy, a frustrated group, hopelessness. People went to colleges, people went to universities, they came out, they know jobs, and then the president seems to be talking about a job on top of the car, but that job cannot be seen or cannot be felt by the young people. So we have a bigger crisis. I wish we can do better. And thank you very much, guys, on behalf of this, for supporting Brenda. And I believe now she's going to be fine. I will still continue to follow her progress. She will give us, akianza kutembea atachukua video tutumie, yeah, so that we can be of help. And by the way, kama uko na kazi unaweza msaidia, alifanya something on veterinary services or something, you can also help, yeah, so that at least ametufaitia from where you are, you can also be a blessings to her. Thank you.